Thinking outside the box is a term that we use a lot, but I don't think we truly understand it. In the context of what I'm talking about right now, it's not necessarily thinking outside the box, but it's examining the dysfunction within the human species as a whole, but specifically I want to deal with the dysfunction that is inside the that is prevalent in pretty much all communities, but I want to focus specifically on the African American community. I want to deal with the idea that this dysfunction is multifaceted. It also comes from a place of escape. A lot of the things that we deal with, a lot of things that we are unable to handle, we end up escaping or finding means of escape to ease the pressure of what it is that we're having to deal with, that we are not able or haven't figured out how to overcome. When it comes to the family dynamic, we look at how the raising of most of our children are and the beauty upon which they are when they're left uncontaminated by the environment upon which we raised them in, and our inability to deal with our own personal issues reflects negatively onto them, and it allows us to allow them to engage in simple things that are detrimental to their health, detrimental to their evolutionary growth, detrimental to the mental, psychological well-being, detrimental to their emotional well-being. We have to just think more than the idea that you teach the kid right from wrong, that this is going to be enough to allow for this kid to be well adjusted and well positioned in life to deal with the onslaught of social issues that they will have to and will be confronted with. These issues are the same issues that most of us have failed to be able to reconcile with. So we don't reach our full potential. We escape into entertainment. We escape into the use of alcohol, the use of drugs, the use of sex to a degree where it is unhealthy and it is not productive in what it is that we need to accomplish as individuals to become the ultimate human being that we can become, the human being that is balanced, that is driven from the inside with the desire to achieve, not at the expense of others, but with the growth of others, not at the destruction of others, but the raising of others to similar heights. These things and these concepts are not what is heavily pursued within this society. It's not what we think in terms of how we would like to rise to the top. We think that we need to rise to the top at the destruction and the demise of others. You don't have to rise to the top in that sense. It may happen that those who you are engaged with may create their own demise, but you don't have to be a part of that. You can rise, and we can rise above that and move to the top in and of with our ability, and not with the idea that we have to see someone else fail in order for us to succeed. Now, they may fail and you may succeed. Now, this is a reality, but at the same time, this is not the ultimate goal. But let's get back to the situation at hand. The idea that the African American is dysfunctional is an absolute truth. And that dysfunction comes from a lot of different areas. And it is a product of the society upon which we live in, and it's a product of what we have accepted as a natural way of thinking and growing and doing things. We refuse to acknowledge that we are dysfunctional for the most part. Now again, this is general. This is not all African Americans, but for the most part, the African American is a dysfunctional piece within the broader society that is America, because of many, many, many different elements. Far too many to explain in this short video, but with that being the case, we must recognize that escaping away from things and not really getting an understanding of what it is that you're doing, particularly when it comes to your nutrition and your mental health, they are interlinked, and you need to understand that poor nutrition leads to poor health, not only in the adults but especially in the children, and it leads to a lot of these ADHD diagnosis, because you're feeding kids and you're exposing them to things such as cytotoxins, which kill off the nerve damage and kill off the nerves of the brain, and creates anxiety, excitement, restlessness within its host. So you must understand these things. You know, simply giving that child cow's milk and thinking that is harmless and innocuous is not a good way to approach certain things that are and have been exposed to as being detrimental. Cow's milk is meant for cow's milk. It has within it casein, a known cytotoxin that helps to create some of the issues and behavior problems that you see within your kids. And you think that it's just the way kids are. No, it's not. It's what you're feeding that kid that is helping to lead that kid into this type of behavior. Peace and love.